Padres have been a pain for the orange and black the last few years, but not for the Giants ace. He's 9-4 lifetime, including 4-1 last year. Lincecum of the Giants against the Padres next. From the great city of San Francisco on a great, spectacular San Francisco afternoon, the Giants and the Padres, Game 2 of the series. Giants baseball is brought to you by Xfinity. Only Xfinity On Demand has what you demand. Watch the latest shows and movies anytime and anywhere with Xfinity On Demand. Hello, everyone. I'm John Miller with Mike Krukow. Welcome to San Francisco Giants baseball. And the Giants are trying to even up this series. The Padres did it to them again last night. Back of Lupke, 5-3 Padres. Now Tim Lincecum will try and get the Giants even. Lincecum's numbers not stellar so far. In fact, rather odd, even though he did get his first win of the year in his last start.
Yeah, his numbers are a little strange. If you look at the 18 2/3 innings that he's thrown, he's allowed, almost two base runners an inning. That's not good. His ERA is almost 9. 17 earned runs in 8 2/3. But what's weird about the whole thing is in those 18 2/3, he struck out 24 guys. So the stuff is there. The consistency is not there. However, the one big number that impresses all of us is the last outing. He got number 1 win on the year. So we're hoping that he finds that arm slot early and provides some consistency to his stuff. He does that, he'll be all right.
And facing a ball club against which he's had a high comfort level in the past. Now, the Giants don't seem to be comfortable when they're in those clutch at bats. They're hitting well overall as a team, but you put a runner at second or third, what we call scoring position, that's another story.
Well, the last 12 days it's been dismal, and they're hitting 165 with runners in scoring position. But I got a theory on this. Ever since the doubleheader in New York last Monday, they've been a little flat, and I think after last night's good night's sleep at home, they finally got their bounce back in their step, but I think you're going to see better at-bats today. They look like a refreshed team.
It'll be Lincecum for the Giants, Anthony Bass, a hard-throwing right-hander for the Padres. Stay tuned. We'll be back with the lineups and the first pitch after this. Giants are on the field.
All right, time now for the key ingredients of the game. They're brought to you by Round Table's Triple Play Pepperoni Pizza. 3 kinds of pepperoni, all kinds of flavor. Well, number one, they need more clutch hits. Last 12 games, $165 in those runner and scoring position at bats. They need to prove upon that. Lincecum, as always, when you're struggling with mechanics, he's got to get in an arm slot, and he's got to be able to maintain that arm slot. And the other thing is get the crowd going. Get this offense into a game early. They are too often putting pressure on themselves to produce late in the game, and the way to take that pressure off, score early. And those are your Round Table key ingredients.
And let's take a look now at the batting order for the San Diego Padres. Will Venable leads off in right field. Jesus Guzman, left field. Chase Headley, third base. Nick Hundley, red hot, equaled a career best 4 hits last night. He's catching, hitting cleanup. Yonder Alonso, acquired from Cincinnati in the Matt Latos trade, first base. Orlando Hudson, second base. Cameron Maben is the center fielder, hitting 7th. Andy Perino, the shortstop. Anthony Bass, hard-throwing right-hander, the pitcher, batting 9th, up against Tim Lincecum.
Take a look at the numbers for Lincecum. Lincecum, 27 years old, 5'11", 160-pounder in his 5th year at the big league level. And in 4 starts, you look at the number of runners, 26 hits, 9 base on balls. That's 35 base runners in 18 2/3. Now that's way too many. Normally he averages around 1 base runner an inning, and that's amongst the league leaders. But the one thing that is a bit of an enigma is he's got 24 strikeouts. So the stuff is good. It's just been a matter of being able to be consistent with it from inning to inning. He's always had good numbers against these Padres. Lifetime 9-4 with an ERA of 1.96. So he's had some. There you go. And hopefully he can continue it tonight.
And it was even a little bit better last year. He was 4-1 against the Padres last year. And a fastball in there for a called strike. Tim Cheetah is the home plate umpire.
89-mile-an-hour fastball. That's how he opens it up.
Up through the twilight and well back out of play off the left field line, and it's 0-2.
Another indicator when you're looking at a guy and you're wondering about his mechanics is that he'll have a big variance in velocity. It could be anywhere from 89 to 94. When he locks into good mechanics, he'll get to 94. When he's not, it'll be 89.
Change up. Brandon Belt, nice pickup on a tough hop. 1 away.
Let's take a look at the defense the Giants will employ tonight behind Lincecum. Starting in the Giants outfield from left to right, it'll be Cabrera, Pagan, and Scherholz are starting together, get some pretty good rhythm together. They've had a lot of innings together out in the outfield. Crawford and Sandoval will be joined on the left side of the infield. Burris and Bell on the right side, and Buster Posey will be in the squad putting down the signs.
Here is Jesus Guzman hitting .218, just a bit low on the outside for ball 1. The umpiring alignment, the crew chief Tim Cheetah behind the plate, Chris Conroy at first, Jeff Nelson at second, Bill Welke at third. And he blew a fastball right by him.
Tim Cheetah, the plate umpire, has got a low ball zone, and he's kind of a rule book guy. I mean, he's going to give you what the rule book says. You will get a few high strikes up around the belt. You won't get many corners with Cheetah.
Hit very softly. Lincecum, and not nearly in time. A base hit for Guzman, just a big swing, and then he just barely made contact.
Well, last night Guzman had 4 at-bats, had 1 hit the ball hard 3 times. Tonight, luck sort of going the other way, but when you're a pitcher like Lincecum who's going through a few struggles, you see hits like this. Swinging bunts, and this is a good one right here.
So now Chase Headley comes up. Headley, switch hitter, batting left-handed, .274 average. And back to the bag is Guzman. Padres have not hit well as a team for the year, hitting only .218, including their 11-hit game last night. But they've been a much better hitting team on the road, .267 on the road, averaging nearly 5 runs a game. Change up, in for a strike. And it's 0-1. The Padres at home in their big home park down in San Diego, Petco Park, are 5-9, and their team batting average is .205 at home. So they have actually hit well. They've been a good hitting club on the road, as they proved last night. A ball and a strike now. Right now, the infield is mostly covered in the dark shadows. And there you see it. Center field, the power alleys, and the entire scoreboard complex lit up in the bright sun. So visibility for a hitter may not be very strong right now. No pitch. Timeout was granted there by Tim Cheetah just as Lincecum threw the pitch.
That was a little late. That's not going to make that guy happy. Who's Bochy? That was how pitchers do not like to be interrupted late.
One out, one on. Belt on the bag at first, holding against Guzman. Lincecum throws over there, and that was fairly close.
Well, he's worked on a new move, and he's starting to get quicker to first base. As athletic as he is, and he puts his mind to anything, he can be very, very good at it.
Guzman again. And to dive quickly back to the bag. He got his first steal of the year last night in the 7th inning with Jeremy Affeldt pitching. He stole third. Crawford at short, Burris at second, both pulled in a bit. Double play depth. Change out in for a strike. 1-2 now to Headley. Headley with 24 career at bats against Lincecum and a .292 average. But he's had more success than most in his battles with Lincecum. That one is fouled. Still 1 ball and 2 strikes. Nick Hundley, who's been a hot hitter, on deck. Here's Hundley. No score. 1 out, 1 on. As Lincecum gets ready to go back to work now to chase Headley. The Dodgers are hosting Washington this evening. We'll keep an eye on that ball game as we bring you this one. LA 3.5 games up in the division, 4 ahead of the Giants right now. That's a double play ball. Burris to second, 1. Crawford to first. 2, a double play, and the side is retired. Strong first for Lincecum. Let's take a look at the Giants batting order now, brought to you by your Northern California Honda dealers at shophonda.com. Pagan in center, and he's been a hot, especially the last 3 games. He's hit a home run in each of the 3, including leading off the game with a home run last night. Melky Cabrera, left field. Pablo Sandoval, who now has lengthened his hitting streak to 20. Third base. Buster Posey hitting .371, the catcher. Nate Scherholtz back in there, right field. Brandon Belt, first base. Brandon Crawford at short. Emmanuel Burris hits 8th at second. Tim Lincecum, the pitcher. And for the Padres, the 24-year-old right-hander, and he's a hard thrower, Anthony Bass is on the mound.
6'2", 190-pounder is just almost completing a his first year at the big league level, and you can see his numbers are good. 12 hits, 19 and a third. He's got great stuff. He's got a fastball that go 93, 96 with a curveball, slider, changeup. All of them he'll throw in 3-2 counts. You see the strikeout count is a good one. However, the walks can go high as well, too. He can get a wild hair up his nose.
Angel Pagan, 250 average for the year now. 3 doubles, 3 triples, 4 homers, including, as we mentioned, a home run in each of his last 3 games. 1 ball and no strikes to count to him. Pagan has been lethal from both sides of the plate here in the last several days. That fastball at 92 miles an hour in for a strike. Pagan has hit 3 of his home runs overall as a right-handed hitter and 1 as a lefty. And the slider down and in. So it's 2 balls and a strike to Angel Pagan.
Bass likes to work off that first base side of the rubber. And he's kind of a high 3/4 release. And by working out that side of the rubber, he thinks he gets a better curveball in the eye of left-handed hitters. Becomes a better pitch for him.
Changed up.
That has become a pitch that has really taken him to the next level. I mean, much of last year, he was a relief pitcher. And you didn't see this pitch, and he worked on it, and when he finally figured it out, they put him in the rotation, saying this guy's got the stuff of a starter. And that changeup is what has allowed him to go to the next level.
2-2 pitch. And there it is again. Strike 3 called.
Let's take a look at the defense playing behind Anthony Bass tonight for the Padres. Starting in left field from left to right will be Guzman, Maven, and Venable. Good arms across the board. Perino, Headley on the left side of the infield. Hudson and Alonso on the right side, and Huntley will be in the squad putting down the signs.
Melky Cabrera now. Another switch hitter. Giants have 4 of their switch hitters in the lineup tonight, and 8 hitters will bat left-handed against Bass. That fastball at 93 miles an hour, a strike.
See a lot of those knee-high strikes from Tim Cheetah, the plate umpire.
289 average. The average has been falling lately. 0-2. Giants saw Bass 4 different times last year, but all as a relief pitcher. He worked 8 1/3 scoreless innings all told, and they only had 3 hits and 3 walks against him. This is the first time that he's ever started a game against San Francisco. 0-2 the count. Oh man, that one just disappeared.
Good hard back foot slider. So Anthony Bass has come out smoking. Back foot slider, you throw it on the inside corner, let it fall out of the zone and back towards his back foot, and you don't literally want to hit him in the back foot. And you get a lot of lefties to swing over the top of that, just like that.
And here comes Pablo. 329 average. He has added to his club record for consecutive games having at least 1 hit or more. Coming in at 20, but not here as he grounds out to retire the side. On to the second. Let's come back to the hill.
quality and fuel efficiency, Ford is the right choice for California. Schedule a test drive today. Last night, Pablo Sandoval extended his streak to 20 consecutive games since the start of the season. Second time he's had a 20 or more hitting streak in his career, and he joins Willie McCovey and Willie Mays as the only other San Francisco Giants to do it, and that is our Ford right choice.
To do it twice. Nick Hundley leads off, and this will give you an idea of what a hitter is up against right now in the dark shadows with the bright background.
It is definitely a time of night that favors the pitcher.
Hundley actually came into the series hitting 200, but last night he was 4 for 4, and his overall average now is at 254. He equaled his career record with 4 hits in the game. Blew a fastball right by him. I mean, it looks tough to be a hitter right now.
Yeah, it's not fun, and you get a glare off the batter eye out in center field. I have a revolving chunk right in the middle, right here, and that is really shiny.
The ball is hit a mile, but foul. Way back, high into the lower deck, but very much foul.
Yeah, feel good strike.
Foul ball home run. As a fan, I enjoy a good foul ball homer.
Yeah. Especially if you're catching it.
2-2 the count. Did he swing? No.
I love that angle from your home plate because you really get a chance to see just how high the release point is of Tim Lincecum. All right, did he go? Let's check the swing. It always looks like they go.
I don't think he would have hit a home run on that, but maybe a double off the wall. Curveball, and he walks him.
Well, the Miami Marlins are coming to San Francisco. That's right. May 1st and May 3rd, a 3-game series. And Tuesday and Wednesday, both those games will be 7:15. And you can catch the midweek baseball in the city at the series finale on Thursday, May 3rd. Start time 12:45. Tickets for as low as $8. Go to sfgiants.com and check it out.
Yonder Alonso, the former Red. And ball one from Lincecum after the leadoff walk to Hundley. He was 1 for 4 last night, struck out 3 times. Giants made a move today as last night's starter Eric Hacker was optioned back to AAA to Fresno. And Burris cannot handle it. Throws over behind the runner at second, but Hundley was not going anywhere. And the Padres have 2 men on with nobody out. Buster Posey out to the mound to talk to Lincecum.
He's trying to get in position and sliding into it to where he can get it quickly and get a throw over to second. I mean, he was thinking he had a chance to get the double play, and it's going to cost him an error. It's been ruled an E4.
And there are times where you can be a little too aggressive, whereas you want to at least get one out. He wanted more and got none. Here's Orlando Hudson.
Tight zone.
Hudson, after a painfully slow start to his season, has come on here the last week and a half. His overall average still very poor, 209. But he's hit well over 300 the last 10 games. That's a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike, and the Padres with a threat. 2 men on, nobody out. Hudson, who's had 27 at-bats in his career against Lincecum and a .370 batting average against him. So he's been a tough out for Lincecum for a long while. Missed badly with that one. 2-1. Pagan looking up into the bright sunshine. One away.
Non-productive out, just what the doctor ordered. And you talk to Lincecum, and you never really could tell if the guy's lost 5 in a row or won 5 in a row. I mean, he's the same person every day, but it's grinding on him that he isn't able to be consistent with a release point. As proud as he is of an athlete, I mean, he's not used to looking down in the ERA title or the ERA column and seeing an ERA of 8.20. It's about 6 points higher than what he's used to.
Cameron Maben now hitting 7 to the order. 2 men on, 1 man out. No score. And a strike call to the inside. Maben 3 for 16 with 6 strikeouts in the past against Tim Lincecum. A ball and a strike, a walk and an error put Lincecum in a hole here, but he got Hudson on a fly ball to shallow center, and now a ball and a strike to Maben. Padres gave Maben a contract extension in the offseason. Began the year as the leadoff man. He had a very nice season for them a year ago, but he got off to a real slow start. And by the time they arrived in town here, hitting 7th in the order as he tries to get himself going. Hitting only 194. And that breaking ball down, and it's 2-1.
Low ball hitter. You say that about a lot of tall hitters.
Two and 1 the count. 2 men on. On the hands. Pop fly. Nate Scherholtz right on the edge of the shadows. 2 down.
Perfectly placed fastball right on the hands. And that's a pitch that Lincecum has not been able to gain consistency with. A guy like Maben, you want him. He wants to beat you middle away. This thing runs right up and you see his elbows break down. I mean, this is a perfect pitch. You take away his power when you bunch his elbows up like that. And that's a defensive hat. Beautiful location there.
2 down. Andy Perino. Still 2 men on for the Padres. Hundley at second. Alonso at first. Perino is a switch hitter. And it's a foul as he just barely made contact with that one. Perino hitting 242 with a home run.
Well, this has really been one of the stories around the Padres this year. I mean, think back, Jason Bartlett, the shortstop last year, really had a nice season for him, but he got out of the block so slowly that Perino was given an opportunity, and they like his game, and he may stick around in that position for a while.
Bartlett was hitting only 154, and he was making errors too. There is Barris. Plenty of time, and the side is retired. So a big hole, 2 men on, and then out. Buster Posey coming up. to rising gas prices? Factor in the 5 Toyotas that get over 40 miles per gallon, and the answer is Toyota. Do the math. Buster Posey, his math is exceedingly strong. A 447 average in the last 10 games, and not just getting base hits. Got 3 homers, 3 doubles. He's knocked in 6, scored 7 in that time. And he hit one last night against a guy throwing 98-mile-an-hour fastballs.
Middle in. And this swing of the bat impressed everybody in that Giants dugout. They were talking about it today around batting practice. John Dunston, Roberto Kelly. They looked at Buster and said, well, if 98-mile-an-hour fastballs don't impress you, this league really can't impress you.
Andrew Kashner, the former Cub, had been blowing people away. And Buster Posey launched one. That's a strike on the outer third from Anthony Bass. No score in the game. Buster, at the start of the day, was third in the National League for batting average, 371 overall. And the count, 1 ball and 1 strike. That ball that he hit last night also out close to the spot where the left field wall meets the center field wall, which is 404 feet away from home plate. There is Orlando Hudson, and not this time for Buster Posey. 1 away.
Well, remember we were talking first week of the season, like there was a little bit of rust on Buster. It's gone. He is clean as a whistle.
Now when he grounds out like that or doesn't square a ball up, you're surprised. Like, wait a minute, what happened? What's wrong with Buster? Well, here's Nate Scherholtz. Nate was so hot, and his admirers may be just as mystified as Nate is right now. He had the 6-hit doubleheader on Monday in New York. He has not had a hit, nor has he even reached base since then. 0 for 13 since his great doubleheader. Count is quickly 0-1 here.
I think that doubleheader took its toll on these guys. I really do. I really noticed today that they had a different bounce about them around spring training, much more energy today during batting practice rather, not spring training. But, I mean, understandable when you consider the amount of innings you played last Monday. Then you had a late-night flight to Cincinnati, and then they had to leave Cincinnati, come back to San Francisco, a long flight. Today, they look like the normal team.
That breaking ball off the inside. There's Bruce Bochy and Sir Hensley Muirlands. Bochy was asking him, says, how do we have to address you now? Sir Hensley, Sir Muirlands, what? Sir Bam Bam?
Sir Bam Bam.
A long run for Guzman. He takes charge, calling off Perino, and he makes the catch. Scherholtz is retired. 2 down. Hensley Muirlands is from the Netherlands Antilles, the island of Curacao. And yesterday morning he was knighted by Queen, as he pronounced her name, Beatrix. Queen, I think here we would say Beatrix, the Queen of the Netherlands, and she was in Europe. And Boch wanted to know. He says, wait a minute, what about the sword and all that kind of stuff? He says, that'll be later. Brandon Belt, first ball swinging, and the put out for Bass. So Brandon Belt was not up there very long. Hensley Muirlands say, that's not what I was teaching you guys.
5,000 fans will receive a Sergio Romo bobblehead presented by Box. Game Time 105, and there are seats available for all 3 Brewers games. Go to sfgiants.com and check them out.
Tim Lincecum throws a called strike to his opposite number. Padres pitcher Anthony Bass. Bass is 0 for 4 with the bat so far this year. Fouled away. Looks like he can swing it, though.
That's a hack and a half right there. If you're pitching against this guy, you don't know much about him as a hitter. You just found something out. He could swing it. Don't let the 0 for 9 fool you.
Curveball puts him away. That was the hammer. 1 away. Giants baseball is brought to you by Jack in the Box. Love bacon? Then try the new BLT cheeseburger combo right now at Jack in the Box for just $4.99 plus tax. Here now is the leadoff man, Will Venable. By the way, that error charged to Emmanuel Burris has been erased. And a base hit credited to Yonder Alonso. Back in the second inning after the walk to Hundley. There was that ground ball that got away from Burris. The official scorer made the announcement. He didn't explain why he changed it. We can only surmise.
Because he could.
A ball and a strike.
Hey, there's power when you're the official scorer.
I'd like to hear the explanation. That'd be cool, wouldn't it? There's a ball up and away.
Well, here's the play we're talking about. Just to the left of Burris. He tries to slide into this thing. If he could have picked it there, he would have been able to plant that right foot and then gotten up a quick throw to Crawford. And they said, no, that's a base hit. Generous hit right there.
I was surprised that he changed it. Lincecum's got a good curveball going right now. It's 2-2 to Venable.
I mean, that's the thing that's been so intriguing about his slump is that he's had good specialty pitches. The split's been good. The curveball's been good. The slider, when he's thrown it, has been good. I mean, 24 strikeouts in 18 innings. That's a good indication of stuff.
Now at 25. Now in 21 innings, including his evening up till now. 3-2. Back to the screen. The high hard one. Venable tried to wreak mayhem on it.
He's a good high ball hitter. He likes the ball middle away.
He grounded out to first his first time. Guzman on deck. Still the shadows, which have advanced all the way out to near the feet of center fielder Angel Pagan, but still lighting up the hitter's backdrop very brightly. And a walk, a 3-2 curveball, and he almost got him to chase. He's walked 2 now, and both of them have been on 3-2 curveballs.
He won't change either. I mean, he'll throw anything at any time. He's absolutely fearless. Once he commits to a pitch, he'll throw it. And he really doesn't care what the count is.
Venable is a genuine threat to run. He has 3 steals this year. He got thrown out trying to steal last night in the 9th inning by Hector Sanchez, who threw out a couple in last night's game. Belt. And he hits the runner. Everybody safe.
I thought when he got the ball, he was far enough in the grass in the infield to where he had a pretty good angle to make the throw. Watch him come into the infield, and that gives him a little angle to the target.
Well, did you see how Venable ran right into the line of the throw?
And that's good baseball. It's good instincts.
I think if we see that replay again, you'll see that Venable was well off the grass in the baseline and then veered over to the grass.
That's exactly what he did.
Look where he is.
Anticipating that there was going to be that angle that Bell was going to have to try and get the ball to Crawford. And he tried to put himself between that, and he succeeded. Good play.
Well, Will Venable grew up around the game. His dad, Max, a former Giant himself. I have a feeling Max taught him a few things.
Well, Max was one of the best base runners I ever played with. And he would do plays like that all the time. Had a great first step. He anticipated balls in the dirt well.
Two and 0 the count to Chase Headley. Padres with another threat here, a walk and an error. And it was interesting also on that play, Mike, to see Crawford. Looked like Crawford switched to the other side of the bag, almost as if to say, well, he's on this side. Just missing there. I mean, look where Crawford is. And look how Venable goes right into the path of the throw. Crawford's waiting for the throw on that side.
And they kind of catch a break. That ball didn't go farther in the outfield, or Venable would have taken third.
Once it hits the guy, who knows where it's going.
Exactly.
3-0 the count. Hundley on deck. Now it's 3-1.
One more look. You see, he thinks he has a pretty good angle, and then there's the little move by Venable to try to get in the way. And I mean, he knows where the ball is going to be fielded. He knows where the target is. So you can do exactly what he does if you have instinct.
It's a walk. So now with one out, the bases are loaded, and the very hot Nick Hundley is coming up. Hundley, who had a 4-for-4 game last night and who walked his first trip tonight. Hundley, who has had some success against Lincecum. He's got a double, triple, and homer against him in 19 official at bats. A .316 average. Venable now at third, Guzman at second, and Headley at first. And the heads up base running there by Venable, a huge play in this inning. Giants middle infield looking for the double play. A double play would end the inning. No score in the game. Bases loaded, one out. A strike.
Like a first pitch changeup. Could have been a slider. At times it's hard to tell what Lincecum's throwing because all of his specialty pitches have downward bite to him.
Fastball. Oh, man, what was that?
I mean, it's Tim Cheetah's zone, and he can frustrate a pitcher. You don't get many corners with Cheetah.
All right. Well, you can see Buster Posey had moved over a few inches as the pitch was coming in. Now it's 2-1.
I mean, the good news is he's not missing by a whole bunch. That was not the case in his last outing in New York. When he would miss, he was all over the place. A lot of his takes were really easy. If you could get to a 2-strike count and then go to some of those corner locations, you'd have guys swinging at him. They're that close to the strike zone.
Lined into left field. Cabrera will throw to third as Venable comes in to score.
Well, they catch a break there. That ball was scalded. And if the ball hit that hard, you're not going to have a lot of range as an outfielder. Unfortunately, it was right to Cabrera. But it did get a job done. It got a run in on the sack. He set up in the outside corner. This thing comes middle in. And Hundley, as you mentioned, has been swinging a hot bat. That was a seed.
Yonder Alonso now. Alonso, who reached on the ground ball that eluded Emmanuel Burris, that originally scored as an error and then changed to a hit. So he is 1 for 1. 2 men on, 2 men out, a run in, an unearned run at that because of the error. You know, seeing Max Venable's son, Will, with that little inside baseball, kind of a base running maneuver that made all of this really happen. And I remember Barry Bonds doing something like that to complete an inside the park home run in San Diego. That ball is lofted to the big part of the yard, back out into the sunshine, and not many parks where that's not a home run. Out into Death Valley by Alonso. 1-0 Padres. is where we take an in-depth look at some of the Giants' stars of tomorrow. Roger Kiesnick, at one time considered a top prospect, and he kind of faded back a little bit, and all of a sudden he is red hot and emerging again. 22 games with Fresno this year. He's hitting .352 with 5 home runs, a .404 on base average, and he's slugging nearly .700. A former third-round draft choice of the Giants. Roger Kiesnick, the son of a former big leaguer. Get the best in TV, internet, and voice with Xfinity, only from Comcast.
It's good to see Roger Kiesnick healthy again. He went through some pretty substantial injuries.
That's in there for a strike now to Brandon Crawford. There's a fastball up and away. A ball and a strike to Brandon Crawford. Brandon hitting .212. A homer, 6 doubles, 8 runs batted in. 1-0, the Padres lead. That changeup is low. 2-1. Bruce Bochy was talking about the scouting report on Bass and saying that the Bass they saw last year as a relief pitcher threw harder than this Bass, the starter. That ball was a shot, but right to Alonso. 1 away.
Giants baseball is brought to you by your Bay Area Jeep dealer. Visit one today to begin your adventure in a Jeep Wrangler, Patriot, Compass, Liberty, and Grand Cherokee, or visit Jeep.com to learn more.
Today's birthday.
Today is my birthday.
Today is my birthday. Hit, oh, I see. Hit one here. Okay.
It would be foul, but she would be happy. And when it's your birthday, it's all about being happy.
Guzman on that high pop-up retires Burris in shallow left. Burris, who came in hitting .277. So 2 down very quickly, and now Tim Lincecum will come up. 1-0. The Padres are leading.
Lucio working the crowd. Got his World Series ring on.
Posing for photos. That's a strike to Lincecum. Lincecum is 0 for 6 as a hitter so far this year. And that slider low and inside for a ball. 1 ball and 1 strike. The Dodgers are at home with the Washington Nationals. No score after 2.5 innings down there. Fastball to strike. And it's 1-2. In that game, Steven Strasburg, the young phenom right-hander for Washington, is pitching. And Bryce Harper, the 19.5-year-old, even younger phenom, is making his major league debut playing left field. Giants have not yet had a base runner against that man. On to the 4th. Now the smart play brought to you by Lincoln and the new MKS. Now it gets interesting. Last night, Hector Sanchez in the 6th inning of the game. This perfect throw, nailing Todd Hundley trying to steal. Then in the 9th inning, he did it again. Will Venable takes off. Arias covers in time. And it just seems as though Sanchez gets more and more impressive behind the plate every time you see him. Because those throws, I don't know that they could have been any better. And if they weren't absolutely perfect, then both of those probably end up as steals. Orlando Hudson facing Lincecum. Long run for Cabrera. And look, the bullpen mound. Little booby trap down there. He's able to get his man in foul ground.
Watch his right foot just sort of get stubbed there as the mound starts to rise there in the bullpen. I mean, that's the one thing. I mean, in Wrigley Field and here, I mean, you've got a mound that's in the playing field. It's the first time that we've seen Melky Cabrera have to deal with it. But hey, it's all part of the knowledge that you have to have learning a new ballpark. And this place is still new for him.
Curveball missing to Cameron Maben. Maben hit a fly ball to shallow right center. His first time. He's 0 for 1. 1-0. The Padres lead. The ball is hit well. Deep left center. Melky. He's got it. Goes mano a mano at the wall. Still has it. 2 down.
You can tell that he used to play center field. That ball was hit, and he picked out a spot to where he thought it was going to be. And I always talk about good route runners. This is a great route. Look how direct this is. He turned around and took off and just lowered his head. He knew he had to dig to get there. And when he thinks he's getting close and looks up, gets a purchase high backhander. Job well done. He can cover some ground. He can still play center field for you. And Tim Lincecum digging it. He knows that's extra bags.
He's got a new best friend out there right now.
Absolutely.
Cabrera.
Christmas card. I'll send you a Christmas card. We're good.
On a couple of pitches there, Melky went from practically the first row of the box seats on the left field side to a bleacher seat out in deep left center. Took a tour of AT&T Park there and picked up a couple of putouts along the way. Perino grounded out to second his first time. And the fastball to strike, 1-1. Lincecum could use a quick inning. He had thrown 51 pitches in the first 3. Up, back to Melky. On the warning track.
Wow.
That ball, for a while, looked like it wasn't going to come down. A 7-pitch inning for Lincecum. Melky Cabrera did the rest.
Bottom of the 4th inning, and It's not every day where a guy can prove his range in one inning, but Melky Cabrera certainly did this. This is out number 2 when he goes over his shoulder to his left. And this is the final out where he was going straight back. And again, a high backhander. 3 great plays, and Tim Lincecum going, hey, I love that guy. And why not?
I didn't tell me. How come nobody told me it was going to be so easy? I'm out here breaking my back, throwing pitch after pitch after pitch. I could have just let him hit it out to Melky all along. Well, the first pitch of the inning was taken by Orlando Hudson, the first batter. Then in the span of 6 pitches, 3 fly ball outs, all on long runs before the catch by Melky Cabrera. Top of the order with the Giants. Angel Pagan leads off with Cabrera on deck. Pablo Sandoval due up third. Giants are down 1-0. They've yet to get a base runner against Anthony Bass. That fastball to strike on the outside.
9 up, 9 down, 3 strikeouts. He's been perfect. They need to get him in a stretch, and the earlier in the inning, the better.
And he's hardly broken a sweat. He had to throw only 9 pitches per inning in the first 3 innings. Pop fly. Maben a long run. Gets there.
Giants baseball is brought to you by New Shanghai Angus steak, made with juicy, tender Angus steak, fresh cut asparagus, and grilled mushrooms.
Sounds good. I'm in. Melky Cabrera gets a warm ovation as Sandoval comes out on deck. Pablo, who's got the 20-game hitting streak still going, but 0 for 1 tonight. Melky struck out his first time. Man, look at the break on that one, but still just not missed by much.
Yeah, he's real comfortable out there in that windup. They need to get him in a stretch.
Melky shows bunt. The slider, a strike. The third baseman, Headley, came rushing in when he saw Melky indicate bunt. He stays in on the edge of the grass, even now. At the knees, strike 2 call.
I mean, those are 3 great location pitches.
1-2 the count. Just off the outside.
That's another great location. They're ahead 0-2, 1-2. I mean, you could go out and play. I mean, it's a paralysis fastball. It's not across the plate, but a lot of umpires are called. A lot of guys will swing at it.
Oh, the slider puts him away. That's his 4th strikeout. Here's Pablo, who grounded out to second his first time. Well, everything's working with this guy right now. The fastball, the slider, the changeup.
Everything's working. You're right. I mean, and not only is he getting it over, he's getting it over with really supreme location. He is wearing out the corners on both sides of the plate at the knees. And he hasn't really had to change sightlines with the fastball. It's been pretty much keep everything down.
A little bit high to Pablo. 1 ball, no strikes.
And that's a stingy strike zone, too. Normally, you get a few more high strikes with Cheetah, whereas you don't get many corners. He's been true to the no corners scouting report. But tonight, he's been pretty stingy around the belt. He hasn't given many. I'll bet there's been 8 strikes between both pitchers that have not been called. I should say would-be strikes.
That slider lofted to left, circling around Guzman, and that's 4 perfect innings turned in by Anthony Bass. Padres leading by 1 unearned run. Dodge. The Angels, they've been struggling big time, but they edge Cleveland 2-1 in Cleveland. Lincecum throws a strike to Anthony Bass. The Tigers snapped a long losing streak, beating the Yankees at Yankee Stadium. Miguel Cabrera, a home run. Nick Swisher hit 2 big flies for the Yankees. That is foul off the right field line and back out of play. 0-2 the count. Kansas City, Minnesota rained out, and Toronto shut out Seattle. Brandon Morrow, the former Cal star, got the win, and he is on a little bit of a roll right now for the Blue Jays. Morrow, the big hard thrower. Curveball, and it's 1-2. Elsewhere in the American League, Baltimore blasting Oakland. That game now moving to the 9th inning. 10-1 Baltimore. Texas over Tampa Bay 2-1, and the Red Sox have defeated the White Sox 1-0, and that's a strikeout for Lincecum. Second time he's gotten Bass, and those are his only strikeouts up till now.
And I think those are the best 2 kill pitches he's throwing tonight. The 2 curveballs he's gotten Bass with. I mean, this is as good as it gets. It's late. There's no hump in it. Explosive downward bite as it gets right up there to him.
Leadoff man Will Venable now against Tim Lincecum. He has grounded out and walked and scored the only run of the game. And there's ball 1. In Baltimore tonight, by the way, the former Giants manager Frank Robinson was honored before the game. They unveiled a statue of Frank Robinson, who is, of course, the great Hall of Famer who also helped the Orioles his first year there win a World Series. He won the MVP in the American League his first year there, 1966, and won the Triple Crown that year. There's been no Triple Crown won in either league since 1967, and none in the National League since the 30s. Lincecum covering. Look out. Just got him. Belt's throw was a little bit behind him. Timing was a little bit off, but Lincecum still got him just barely.
Anytime you see a first baseman have to go overhand with a throw, there's always a little bit of risk involved because that's the type of throw that'll sink. It can get below the belt. Here it's a good throw above the belt. It's got a little tail on it, and it causes Lincecum to slow down, and then it becomes a foot race, and he just does get Will Venable, who runs well,
and does not get stepped on either. You can see him purse his lips afterward as if, oh, that was close. And a strike to Guzman, who has singled and been safe on a throwing error by Belt that set up the only run of the game. Curve, a strike, and it's 0-2.
That's a pitch that's just gotten some life to it. He can throw another one, try and bounce it. He'll swing at it.
Fastball.
Yeah, they tried the paralysis fastball. They set the target at the knees on the outside corner, and then he missed with it up and in. So really way away from the intended location. Now here's the curveball they want to throw.
He did swing at it, but he just got a piece of it.
Early in spring when he was throwing curveballs, it had a hump in it. He was casting it, and that's gone. I mean, the curveball. And I think of all the pitches that he has, that's probably the one that is the best.
Just off the inside.
Changeup is a good one. That didn't miss by much.
2-2 the count. 2 down, nobody on. Headley would be next. That's a fair ball. And Posey, he called off Lincecum on that one. 3 up and 3 down. Lincecum has retired 8 in a row. Buster Posey coming up.
Perfect.
Jeep. The Cardinals are on a roll. And Yadier Molina was 4 for 4 with a home run. Kyle Loesch won his 4th game. Brewers are 9-12. Philadelphia Phillies beat the Cubs 5-2. It was 6-0. Cincinnati over Houston. Johnny Cueto. And how about Jay Bruce? He's homered every day for what, about 4 straight days now. And Miami came from behind. They were down 2-0 in the 7th. They got 1 in the 7th, 1 in the 8th, and 1 in the 9th. And beat the Marlins 3-2. Cishek in relief got the win over Brad Ziegler and Lomo. Logan Morrison hit a home run in that one. Mets leading Colorado on the top of the 6th. Pittsburgh over Atlanta last of the 8th, and the Dodgers and Washington 0-0 last of the 4th at Dodger Stadium. Buster Posey, wow, that slider really fooled him. It's 0-1.
You haven't seen him break down in a swing in a while. That's how good that pitch was. Definitely not something that he saw early.
Bass has been perfect so far. Goes to the outside with a fastball that time, but too low. 1 ball and 1 strike. The Marlins will be here on Tuesday and Wednesday nights, and a day game on Thursday. Ozzie Guillen brings in his Miami Marlin team. High and tight with that fastball. That's one of the first pitches that hadn't been within 2-3 inches of where he intended it, isn't it?
Yeah, you're right. And it's one of the few times he's missed high with anything.
Keeping the ball away from Buster Posey. 3-1. Buster grounded out to second his first time.
Hey, the Gamer Babes are here. Oh, yes, they are. From Menlo.
3-1 the count. Oh, out. He's got that shin guard over the surgically repaired left ankle.
All right, let's see where he got him. He gets that thing wrapped twice every day. Once for batting practice, and when he sweats that, he comes in and they redo it. And a lot of time in that trainer's room every day to get ready to play.
3-2. The slider pulled foul right past Tim Flannery.
Ooh, I think I got a ball dude, Ray Ramirez in the toe. You know what happens then?
Nope.
Call the tow truck. Let's check it out. Yep.
Tow truck.
That could hurt.
Need a tow truck in here right now. Wow.
Oh, that slider, he's not picking it up. That was the pitch that he broke down to start the at bat. They set up in the outside corner. It looks like it kind of backs up. And that is. That's a changeup, and that's a good one. There was no slider rotation on that ball. That was a changeup.
Nate Scherholtz flied out to shallow left. Bass has retired everybody he's faced. And Nate on that changeup. Way out in front. Maben. That's 14 in a row retired by Anthony Bass.
Well, if you're hitting the road, you can't watch the Giants on NBC Bay Area. Well, take the Giants with you on MLB.TV. Subscribe to MLB.TV today to see every out-of-market Giants game live online and in HD quality. Features include choice of home and away broadcasts, multi-game viewing with Mosaic View, and the ability to pause and rewind games. Go to sfgiants.com to order and get more details. MLB.TV.
Brandon Belt slashes it foul into the second deck. Belt grounded out to first his first time. Bass has been nothing short of sensational.
Now look at the pitches per inning. He has been very stingy with his throws.
0-2 to Belt very quickly. He is right at about 10 pitches per inning on average. So he's getting everybody out and making it look easy most of the time. Look out. Backs him off for the fastball. 1-2.
And that was time when he went upstairs, and that was by design. He wanted to go right where he went with it. And that sets up a lot of things. You go right back on his hands with another fastball, slider, back foot, change up. There's the back foot slider.
2-2. Bass, 24 years old, from just outside of Detroit, Dearborn, Michigan. Broke into the big leagues last year primarily as a reliever.
He's been sensational. He's been perfect through 2 outs here in the 5th. Tim Lincecum's only given up 1 base hit himself, and that was a swing and bunt back in the 1st inning. So nobody's given up anything in this game. Oh, I take it back. Yonder Alonso has another. So Lincecum's given up 2 hits.
Yeah. And the first one was, or the second one was first called an error. That ball is hit well, but to the wrong part of the yard. And Maben right near the wall. The inning is over. AT&T Park worked against Belt on that one.
Today's big stories on the NBC Bay Area app. Download it for your iPad, iPhone, and Android device right now.
Inning number 6. 1 run, 2 hits for the Padres. No runs, no hits for the Giants. No base runners for the Giants against Bass, who's been perfect. And the curve bounced foul by Chase Headley. The 3rd place hitter in the lineup, Nick Hundley, will follow, and then Yonder Alonso, the 5th place hitter, due up 3rd. The only run of the game scored in the 3rd inning, and it was an unearned run. Back to the screen, strike 2.
He's had good balance in this at bat. Usually when you see Lincecum start to lock down around the knee-high location with his specialty pitches, a lot of guys get on that front foot, and it has not happened here with Headley.
1-2. Headley has had 25 career official at bats against Lincecum. 2-2. The Padres, I suppose the same is true for the Dodgers and the D-backs, Colorado, teams in the division. They see a lot more Lincecum than anybody else year in and year out. And that's foul.
The velocity for the fastball has been between 88 and 90, and there's been more 88s tonight than there have been 90s. I think he's topped out at 91, was the best fastball we saw him throw. But he's been able to locate the fastball better, and that's something he has not been able to do the previous starts.
2-2 the count. Curveball, but it hangs too high. 3-2. There's Hundley on deck. Back to the screen. 89 miles an hour with that one. Arizona has lost. The Dodgers and Nationals are 0-0 in the top of the 5th inning in L.A. Chad Billingsley for L.A. against Steven Strasburg. Lincecum walks him. So that is the 4th walk allowed by Lincecum, the first base runner that he has allowed since he walked Headley back in the 3rd.
And he's going to have to face Hundley out of the stretch again. And he has been red hot. Next pitch for Lincecum will be number 80 on the night.
8-pitch battle there between Lincecum and Headley. Headley has 2 steals this year. Belt on the bag with him at first. Just a bit low. I feel that pitch should be called a strike when you're going to be real tight on the corners. When that pitch reaches home plate, that pitch is caught just beneath the knees. That pitch is at the knees or even an inch above the knees when it reaches the plate. On the hands, fouled back and out of play.
Whew. And again, he was on it. Good balance through the swing.
Hundley started the year 0 for 21. Then he got extraordinarily hot for a while. Then in their last homestand that just ended on Thursday, he kind of cooled off. And then he began to heat up again last night with a 4 for 4 game. Back over the screen again.
Well, he got away with one there. I mean, you don't want to ever throw a fastball out over the plate to a guy who's hot at the belt. Look at the location of this pitch. He set up in the outside corner, and this is right there. And that is the happy zone. That's the zone that gets hit out of the ballpark. But he's thrown 3 pitches, all 3 fastballs, and he definitely has them set up for something else.
Hundley knocked in the only run of the game with a sacrifice fly in the 3rd. That was a line shot to left. Foul ball. 1-2.
Full house tonight. They just have not been able to get a lot going on the enthusiasm scale other than the defense for Melky Cabrera. Offense has been shut down.
And Lincecum has not had the strikeout pitch working. Only 2 strikeouts in 5+ innings. Runner at first, nobody out here. 1-2 the count. Curveball, just got a piece of that one.
That's a good curveball though, and a good location. Think about Hundley. I mean, he's a real good mistake hitter. If you make a mistake up, he will make you pay. It happened last night against Eric Hacker in the 1st inning. He threw a lazy slider above the belt and he hit it in the left center field gap for a double. And he punishes mistakes.
Hit it out toward the end of the bat, and Pagan, 1 away.
Now, good location with the fastball. Nailed the knee-high location on the outside corner. And that's something that he really had problems with in the previous starts. He wasn't able to locate late in the count with the fastball.
So Headley still at first, 1 out. Yonder Alonso comes up. Lincecum, who had to work hard on each of the first 2 hitters of this inning. An 8-pitch battle with Headley and a walk. And then 6 more pitches to Hundley before he hit the fly ball to center. And out of play off to the left. 88-mile-an-hour fastball. 1 strike to count.
Well, that's a below average fastball. I mean, the average fastball in major leagues is right around 91.
Too high on the outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. So Lincecum scuffling a little bit of this inning against some of the Padres' biggest hitters. 3, 4, 5 spots in the lineup. Yonder Alonso, the young guy. They traded high to get him, sending Matt Latos to Cincinnati, their ace. Alonso is the big prize, the best hitting prospect in the Reds farm system. Alonso hit .330 for the Reds last year in 88 at bats. Right there, outside corner, knee high. 1-2.
And that's where the ground balls are.
Alonso at .293 minor league lifetime batting average. One ball and 2 strikes. Changeup bouncing in front of home plate. Alonso is only 25 years old. He's from Havana, Cuba. And the Padres traded away Matt Latos. They got Alonso. They also got the right-handed starter Edinson Volquez, who made their opening day start this year. A catcher named Yasmani Grandal. We probably will see a lot of him in the years to come. 2-2 the count. 4 players all told that they received in the deal that sent Latos to Cincinnati. 1 out, runner at first. Middle infield, double play depth. And the Giants thinking that Headley might take off somewhere in here to break up a possible double play. So they're paying close attention to him. 2-2 the count to Alonso. Lincecum's had deep counts in everybody he's faced in this inning. Holding a long while. Curve. That will be a foul ball. Still 2-2. That was the 90th pitch thrown tonight for Lincecum. He's thrown 19 of them in this inning.
Really had to work hard in the 3rd inning. And the 6th inning here is starting to run the total of the pitch count up as well.
Lincecum due up 3rd in the last half of the 6th. 2-2 the count. Double play ball would be ideal right now. Changeup. Did he swing?
Yes, he did.
Yes. Bill Welke, third base umpire on appeal, rings him up.
Now it looked to me like it was a slider. And that was 83 on the Rambus radar gun. Rambus is a company of inventors dedicated to improving consumer electronics. Rambus, at the heart of the products you love.
So 2 down, Orlando Hudson. But all 3 of the Reds hitters in this inning have taxed Lincecum. Back to the bag easily on that lob throw. Headley with Belt holding against him. Middle infielders back up a little bit now with 2 down. You see the outfield fanned out straight away, with the exception of Sherholtz way off the line, trying to cover up the big gap in right center. Ball 1 to Hudson.
This Padres team is a team that has really struggled with the bats. And most of it was early. It's hard to be patient. You see Bud Black, the skipper of the Padres. And they're trying to push some buttons to crank up some offense.
Right center field. Pagan. Look out. Nate's right behind him. One way or the other, they had that one covered. Last of the 6, Crawford, Burris, and Lincecum do. pregame live and postgame live before and after every Giants telecast on Comcast Sportsnet. Authentic Bay Area sports. I'm John Miller with Mike Krukow, your Giants telecasters. And so far, the Padres, on strength of an unearned run, have a 1-0 lead as Brandon Crawford leads off. And the changeup is too high from Anthony Bass, who has been not only impressive for 5 innings, but perfect. No base runners for the Giants.
Well,
Changeup missing.
The guy who's had the best at bat against him is in the batter's box right now. Brandon Crawford leading things off in the third, hit an absolute bolt right to Yonder Alonso, the first baseman. It was caught, but it was a good at bat. He got one step out of the box, but it was caught.
Now fastball for a strike. 2-1. Burris on deck. Lincecum due third. The only run scored back in the third inning. It was a walk, an error, a walk, and then a sacrifice fly. He chased. He helped him out.
That slider has been electric. Really, I mean, he spotted his fastball very well. It's been consistent between 92 and 94. His slider has been explosive. They're not even picking up the rotation on it, and the changeup's been a good pitch. Everything he has, including the curveball, has been money.
Struck him out. 6 strikeouts. He's retired 16 in a row, 6 of them on strikeouts.
And only one of those strikeouts was a called strike 3, and that was the first hitter of the game. Only 2 current major league teams have never thrown a no-hitter, the Mets and the Padres.
The Mets, I saw a note the other day that there's 7 no-hitters thrown by guys who were once Mets. 1 ball and no strikes to Burris, who hit a fly ball to shallow left his first time.
Well, Nolan Ryan came up with the Mets. That's got to be worth something. They developed him.
And then they traded him. The bunt. Hundley in time.
Now, I like the play. A few years ago, Kurt Schilling lost a no-hitter on a bunt. In fact, it may have been a perfect game when Diamondbacks were playing the Padres in San Diego. And it was a play that got quite a bit of criticism from the Diamondbacks, including Bob Brenly, who's the manager. Really, your job is, as an offense, if a guy's got a roll like Bass has tonight, like Schilling did that night, is to break up his rhythm.
Lincecum. This is a long throw by Perino. Safe. And out of play. He'll be awarded second base. So Tim Lincecum is the man who breaks up the perfect game. How about that? Didn't exactly see that one coming.
That's the fastest I've ever seen him run. Just to the right, and Perino really never could get that back foot set. And let's watch Lincecum go. Right now he's sniffing hit. Not even close. So for the first time tonight, Bass goes in the stretch.
Now you certainly can see Perino. The guy's got a no-hitter going. He wants to, if at all possible, to throw this guy out. But the wild throw has put the possible tying run into scoring position. Had he had a 3-hitter, 4-hitter, maybe just holds on to that ball.
Yeah, he's taking a bite out of it, but he's got to try and make it. Nobody's going to criticize him for making that throw.
It's just sort of the irony of the scenario.
It's baseball.
Everybody in the field is going to do everything possible to keep the Giants from getting ahead. But now Lincecum is actually at second base, and Pagan trying to knock him in. And that's a strike.
And he goes that bread and butter slider. And that is a pitch that a lot of Giants have had a lot of problems with, Pagan especially.
Pagan talking to Cheetah about that call. This is the first time the Giants have had a man on base. Angel Pagan's been a hot hitter lately. Tonight he is struck out looking and flying to shallow center. Changeup misses. 1 ball, 1 strike. Bass has only thrown 62 pitches in this game. He's been very efficient. and has made short work of most of the Giants hitters all night long. So Lincecum, who ran fast to first to get that hit, will have to run as quickly as he can if there's a base hit here. He's the possible tying run. Change up on the inside. Strike two.
We'll go back to his first at bat. He threw a couple of changeups to get the second strike, and then the strike three to Pagano. The strike three, it just froze him. He couldn't pull the trigger. It was a called strike three, and it was right down the middle. A lot of good pitching in tonight's ball game. One run, and it is not an earned run.
And the sinking, that fastball just disappeared at 91 miles an hour. We're going to the seventh. 1-0 Padres.
And the on-field action starts at 12:45. So come on out here to the yard. AT&T Park has never looked as beautiful as it does now. Check it out. Afternoon baseball in the city. Go to sfgiants.com and get your tickets to see the new look Miami Marlins.
So the Marlins in here for the first time. The Marlins with their new ballpark. Their ballpark was reviewed on the front page of the New York Times today by the Times architecture critic under the headline of a ballpark that may be louder than the fans. Not meaning the sound of the public address so much as just the decor.
Well, the Giants will get a chance to see it at the end of May, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, me too. Cameron Maybin leads off, hitting 7 in the order, facing Lincecum. Oh, a beauty.
That curveball's been good.
Maybin was one of the guys who tested Melky Cabrera back in the 4th inning and lost. Cabrera ran to and fro all across the garden out there and left, caught everything. Pablo catches this one on a bounce, one away. Padres have 2 hits. One of them was originally scored as an error, and sort of mysteriously the official scorer changed that call and an inning later to a hit. That was in the 2nd inning. There was an infield hit in the 1st and an infield hit in the 2nd that originally was scored as an error. Those are the only hits allowed by Lincecum. Lincecum himself has had the Giants' only hit, which was an infield hit. Perino tried to throw him out, couldn't do it. And he's batting here. He also tried to hit one over Melky Cabrera in the 4th inning. Melky went all the way back on the warning track to haul it in. Perino is 0 for 2. Bass, the impressive pitcher, is on deck. Sandoval and Crawford give chase. Pablo.
Nice play. You don't have a lot of room. If you're a corner infielder and you're coming over to catch a foul ball in this ballpark, you know that it's going to be tight. You're going to find those sidelines in a hurry. You got wind, but he knows the area, stays with it, makes a nice play.
You got that sunken dugout level party area that kind of comes out onto the field. That takes away a little of that room to maneuver down there. 0-1 to Bass, who has struck out twice. 2 down, nobody on. And the curve is low. 1 ball, 1 strike. 1 run, 2 hits, and 1 error for the Padres. No runs, 1 hit, and 1 error for the Giants. Wow. To me, that pitch has got to be called a strike.
Well, the target was set on the other side of the plate. Had he have set the target inside, I think they would have gotten that pitch. But Cheetah he's tight zone.
2-2.
And there's a lot of umpires. See the target on the outside corner? It goes across the inside corner. Now, nice frame job. I mean, that's a good job of receiving the ball by Posey to try and get it. But if they set the target on the other side of the play, they probably would have gotten it.
2-2. And the curve is low. Full count. Pirates beat Atlanta 4-2 in Atlanta tonight. Eric Bedard got his first win. That one he got. Strike 3 called, and right to the target as well. That man, Cabrera, then Pablo and Posey coming up. Bay Area Investigative Unit. Call 888-996-TIPS. 888-996-TIPS or email the unit at NBCBayArea.com. They'll be on the story. John Miller along with Mike Krukow, and we are at AT&T Park. 7th-inning stretch. Everybody up and working out the kinks. Starting to get a little tense now. The Giants have been trailing since the 3rd inning. An inning in which San Diego got a run without a hit. A couple of walks and an error, and some heady base running there by Will Venable, running into the path of a throw to second that was trying to get a force out on him, and he prevented it. And eventually that set up the run on a sacrifice fly. They got a run without benefit of a hit, an unearned run. Melky Cabrera against Bass, and he belts one going back. Maben still going back. Hits over his head and off the base of the wall. Cabrera with a double.
We have not seen many mistakes up all night long from Anthony Bass with the fastball. And here on the first pitch, he gives him something good to hit. Now, that's a changeup. That's not a fastball. Right up above the belt. But look at he is not fooled by it at all. And almost pumps it out of here. That ball was crushed right at the base of the wall. So on one pitch, he puts himself in score position. And here come the Thunder. It's exactly what the Giants have been waiting for.
Pablo Sandoval, a 20-game hitting streak on the line. Tonight he is grounded out to second and flied out to left, 0 for 2. First ball swinging, skies one. Maben, and Pablo is gone just like that. And a wasted out. Cabrera remains at second base.
2 pitches, one a double, one a pop-up. So I think the Giants are feeling that they have to beat him early in the count. And that's kind of something when an offense gets together, it feels like they have to be aggressive early on. That's a tip of the cap for the type of stuff they're seeing from that starting pitcher. And that's how good Anthony Bass has been tonight. I would expect Posey to be aggressive as well.
Posey has grounded out to second and struck out. 1-0 San Diego. One out, runner at second. Last of the 7th. Off the outside. This is the spot where the Giants have had their problems. Hitting only 165 the last 12 games. 0 for 2 tonight in these critical at-bats. Well, he got the call on that one.
Buster's questioning that call. I don't blame him. I thought the one before that was better than that one.
A ball and a strike to Posey. 3rd in the league in hitting at the start of the day. 371 average. And it's 2-1.
He's staying away with hard stuff.
Posey has never had a hit against Bass. You saw him last year as a relief pitcher. He's now 0 for 5 against him. Cabrera at second, a base hit away from scoring. The slider lifted high and foul and out of play off the first base side. 2-2. And this has been where Bass has been virtually unhittable tonight. It's 2-strike count. That's about it.
It's been his friend. I mean, he has had 4 weapons he can strike you out with, and he's used them all.
Nate Scherholtz on deck. Cabrera leading away from second. The look back. Again. The slider struck him out.
That's how good this pitch has been. Tight rotation. He has not hung it. Starts off mid-thigh, drops down below the knees. And the way that Buster Posey's been swinging the bat, you get him off his back foot, make him off balance in the swing, you've done something, and it's happened all night long.
Bass 6 2/3 innings now. No runs, 2 hits, no walks. He's had 8 strikeouts. Nate Scherholtz is hit 2 pop flies to the outfield. Change up well off the outside. Nate is 0 for his last 15 since his 6-hit doubleheader in New York last Monday. So he's about due. Cabrera still at second with 2 down. Back to the screen.
Got a pretty good pitch to hit right there.
Well, the Giants couldn't have asked for a better scenario. The leadoff double by Cabrera, then Sandoval, Posey. But he got both of them with Cabrera still at second. And now 1 out away from getting out of the jam. Brandon Belt on deck, would be next. Ground ball. Orlando Hudson covers up, spins around, and he's pulled him off the bag. Now Cabrera starts home and changes his mind. The first baseman, Alonso, wanted to get into an argument with Chris Conroy, the first base umpire, and then somebody got his attention because Cabrera started to break down the line from third, so Alonso spun around and froze him.
It was a nice play from the Gold Glove second baseman Hudson. Ooh, that's a close play. He may have been able to come back in contact, but and it's going to be ruled a base hit. He has to reach out. And you can see that there was separation. You just wonder as to whether or not he did have a piece of it at the start of it, or if he came back and got a piece of it at the end of it.
Well, he didn't get it back in the bag in time there, but I think your point is a good one. Was it on the bag to begin with?
Yeah, I think it was right there. So the Giants catch a break.
Buddy Black, after conversing with the umpire, went to the mound and had a conference with his young pitcher, Anthony Bass, who now has to face Brandon Belt. Brandon Belt, until this inning, had the best hit ball of the night for the Giants. A deep fly ball to right center out into the Death Valley area for the final out of the fifth inning. He's 0 for 2 in the game. The Giants with a runner at third, the possible tying run, and a runner at first, Nate Sherholtz, and Sherholtz might take off. They'll have to keep an eye on him. Ball 1 to Belt. Alonso on the bag with Sherholtz. They've got a lot of speed at third base. It'd be interesting to see if the Padres even made a throw to second if he took off. And the count is 2-0. Fastball missing. So far, Nate has been firmly anchored over there at first base, giving no indication of running. There is Cabrera. And if he took off and they did throw through, Cabrera might well head home. Brandon Belt trying to knock in the tying run, at least. And he's done it! Into the gap! He may have done more! It's going through to the wall! Cabrera has scored! And here comes Sherholtz! Here comes the throw! Safe! And the Giants have gone ahead! The double by Belt as he gets back safely to second. And it's 2-1 Giants.
Now that's the hit they've been looking for the last 12 games. 2 out, opposite field gapper that scores 2. Giants caught a break in this inning and they capitalized on it. And for the first time tonight, this crowd is going crazy. Splits the gap, and with the speed of Nate Sherholtz at first base in the 2-out situation, no hesitation. Watch him pick up Flannery. There's the green light, and he is cooking.
Everybody's still standing and cheering here as Brandon Crawford stands in, and that's ball 1.
Now watch the reaction from Tim Lincecum. There's no passion in that man.
Another man in scoring position here. Belt at second. Alonso kicks off him. He doesn't know where it is, and everybody's safe, and Belt's heading home, and he's going to be out by plenty. Belt took the chance, and it did not pay off. But the Giants have gotten 2 runs and have the lead for the first time all night. Tim Lincecum leading the cheers on the Belt double. The top of the order coming up for the Padres. Lincecum heading back to the hill.
Central every night at 10:30 p.m. Comcast Sportsnet, authentic Bay Area sports.
Tim Lincecum back on the hill in the top of the order up for the Padres, starting with Will Venable. And the breaking ball in there. Strike one call.
Yeah, that looked like a slider. He hadn't thrown him in tonight. You have to believe that he's feeling reborn since they got that 2 runs and gave him a lead for the first time.
Pablo playing very shallow at third in deference to Venable's speed and ability to lay down a bunt. Giants bullpen ready if needed. It's Romo the right-hander and Lopez the lefty. The drag bunt, that's going to be a hit. So they had Pablo all over him from third base, but it was the drag bunt to the right side, and the Giants watched helplessly as he sped to first.
Well, you got to get it past the pitcher. And once they did that, it was over. A little slippage there from Lincecum on the back foot, and he can't recover.
That would have been their only hope for Lincecum to race quickly to the bag at first.
Well, and Brandon Bell came off the bag as well. I mean, if he holds his position and gives Emmanuel Burris a chance, they may have had an opportunity from the second baseman. But once Belt vacated the bag, it was over.
Venable, the possible tying run. It's the third Padres hit of the game, first since the second inning. The bunt by Guzman. Posey's plays to first, Belt covering. And now the possible tying run is in scoring position. And the third and fourth place hitters are due up. The Padres will take their best shot right here. Bochy talking it over with Dave Righetti, the pitching coach, with the bullpen heating up. Chase Headley has grounded into a double play and twice walked against Lincecum. 2-1 Giants in the 8th. Giants with a 2-run 7th inning, and the margin of difference between ending that inning behind 1-0 and going ahead was whatever the margin of how far off the bag the foot of Alonso was, if it was off the bag at all, as he caught that throw from Orlando Hudson. If the foot had been on the bag, out and the inning over. At the knees for a called strike with a fastball.
But how much confidence does Bruce Bochy have in Tim Lincecum? He just believes that Lincecum is going to compete through this challenge, even with 109 pitches under his belt.
A ball and a strike. Lincecum, who had the high-stress third inning when the Padres score an unearned run against him through 22 pitches in that inning. Also a 22-pitch 6th inning where all the Padres hitters took him deep into the count, but they did not score. Now he looks Venable back to second. Nick Hundley, who is a hot hitter, on deck. A ball and a strike to Headley. Headley hitting .270 for the year, and he's the Padres RBI leader, 14 driven in. On the outside corner, framed nicely by Posey. Strike 2.
He's located 2 fastballs in this at bat beautifully on that outside corner. 11 pitches.
Reading the sign from Posey. 1 ball and 2 strikes. He's ahead of the countdown. Looks at Venable at second. And, fouled away.
Not fooled. I mean, that was breaking ball in that outside corner, and it was not a hanger either. That was right there, just a bit above the knees. And look at the balance through the at bat. He was definitely on his back leg.
Too high.
I mean, that's pitch number 113. It's 89 miles an hour. The very first pitch of the game was 89 miles an hour. So velocity wise, he's been consistent the whole game.
Full count now. Every pitch so critical. We're in the 8th inning. The Giants' lead is only 1, and the possible tying run is in scoring position. One of the Padres' fastest runners, Venable at second. Struck him out.
Oh, he came up with the best pitch of the night. He backdoors, looked like a slider. And I mean, you couldn't run up there and place it in a better spot. Absolutely perfect. And Headley retired. Huge pitch. You talk about digging deep for something.
Now Posey out to chat with Lincecum. Now Lincecum hiding his remarks with the glove, but not Posey, which is the Will Clark sort of idea. Will Clark, who read the lips of Don Zimmer and Greg Maddux in the 1989 League Championship Series, then hit a grand slam because he saw what they were talking about. The guys been putting their gloves over their mouths ever since. So here is Hundley. He's knocked in the Padres' only run. Ooh.
Change up.
0-1. He has walked. He hit a sacrifice fly that he crushed, a line shot right to the left fielder Cabrera that brought Venable home from third in the 3rd inning. He's flied out to center. So officially 0 for 1. A 4-hit night last night. 2 down, runner at second. Oh man. We said in unison.
And you know what? Lincecum saying the same thing. This just misses, if it misses at all.
One and 1 the count to Hundley. Venable at second with a long lead. And he swung at that one. The high fastball up out of the zone. It's 1-2.
Well, they got away with one there. They set that target out there on the outside corner at the knees. He muscled up. When you try to add on to it, you'll fly that front shoulder. You'll drag, you'll miss up above the hands inside. And he gets Hundley to chase. So now do you go back up top with a fastball? Do you try and go down below with something? I think Posey wants to go upstairs.
Ooh. Not up. Maybe belled high and off the outside.
Now they wanted the elevator. Look at the signal, or the sign from, or the target rather, from Posey, and it sort of cuts across the plate. They got away with one there.
That was the 119th pitch of the night for Lincecum. Everybody standing at AT&T Park. A base hit could tie the game. Lincecum 1 strike away from ending the inning. Smoked into the Giants bullpen area.
Breaking ball, and that caught a little bit too much strike zone. Hundley not fooled at all. I think Posey still thinks that fastball up above the letters is a good one. But after Lincecum missed so badly with it, I think he may be afraid to call it. But that is a good option should they try to get him to chase upstairs.
Hundley backs away as Lincecum and Posey have not yet agreed upon what pitch to next throw.
Either go above the strike zone or below the strike zone. You do not want to make a mistake in the strike zone.
Pitch number 121 of the night. Below the strike zone. Fair ball. Pablo's throw. Out! The inning is over. 8 innings. 3 hits allowed for Lincecum. 1 unearned run. The Giants lead. Of this 3-game series with the Padres, and we'll be back with you on NBC Bay Area and the Giants Television Network on Wednesday, May the 9th at 7 o'clock for the Giants and the Dodgers from LA. And by that time, likely the new ownership will be officially installed. In fact, it may just have happened just before the Giants get to LA. They're there starting a week from Monday, Mike, and that would be the first home game for the Dodgers with the new ownership fronted by Magic Johnson. So the Giants and the Dodgers, and there'll be a little extra electricity perhaps down there.
They're going to have a free throw shooting contest before the game.
I think that's one thing the Dodgers have been lacking, is a good free throw shooter. I mean, Matt Kemp, great hitter, great base stealer, excellent center fielder. Terrible free throw shooter. Here's Anthony Bass, who has just been sensational tonight, and a called strike to Emmanuel Burris, and Burris was kind of disappointed in that call as Santiago Casilla gets ready for the 9th inning. Burris pops it up. Perino out. Guzman in. Guzman.
Now between innings, Lincecum comes over and hugs his catcher. They hooked up well, and he was putting some hugs out for a few. He got the Panda too for that nice play that he made to end things for the Padres in the top of the 8th. Lincecum knew his night was over. I'll tell you what, you say what you want with this guy, but he will compete as good as anybody you will ever witness. Tremendous competitor.
Gregor Blanco up as a pinch hitter for Lincecum, who went 8 innings, 1 unearned run allowed on 3 hits, and all of them were infield hits. Blanco shows bunt, takes a curveball for a strike.
Yeah, and he did it tonight, and he didn't have great velocity with the fastball, but he was able to spot the fastball better tonight than he has had in his previous 4 starts. Curveball was fantastic. It just made big pitch after big pitch.
Timeout. So Lincecum, with 3 hits allowed, could have been none. None of the hits left the infield. 1 unearned run, could have been a shutout. The inning in which they scored, 2 walks sandwiched around an error. Brandon Belt hitting the back of Will Venable with a throw, although Venable wanted him to do it and veered into the way of the throw, as Guzman takes that one right by Santiago Casilla near the Giants bullpen. So Blanco retired, 2 down, and now Pagan. Well, Anthony Bass is another young Padres pitcher. They keep coming up with some outstanding young pitching talent. Lupke, the pitcher we saw here last night, he's a good one already. They had a real good one, Matt Latos, whom they have now traded to the Reds. Our last telecast on NBC Bay Area and the Giants Television Network was 10 days ago. That was the classic pitchers duel. The Phillies and the Giants. There's the bunt. And that's a hit. Forget about it.
Well, that sets up a steal situation. But you know, I mean, veteran move. He was not seeing him at all tonight. Had 2 strikeouts and a pop-up. You're not seeing the guy, but you can see with Chase Headley, the third baseman, playing back, he was giving him the bunt. And he takes it. Now, I would anticipate that at some point early in this at bat, he's going to try and steal, put himself in score position.
And really,
Cabrera.
It goes hand in hand, right? I mean, normally 2 down, bases empty. You want to hit an extra base hit. That's why they give you the bunt. But he is a guy who can steal second. Bass holding. Bluffs him back. Cabrera started the 2-run rally that put the Giants ahead with a double off the center field wall to the right of straightaway center back in the 7th inning. He's 1 for 3. They pitch out. Ball 1.
Bud Black making the same thing. Well, the best time to go is right after a pitch out.
Which is also the second question, right? You pitch out once, do you have to pitch out again?
Well, they do the semi-pitch out and call a fastball on the outside part of the play is usually what they do.
Pagan dives safely back.
But that definitely fits into the strength of Melky Cabrera. When he starts getting it going, he'll take that outside fastball to left field. So if you're Melky Cabrera, you look for that fastball away and go with it.
Pablo Sandoval on deck. And he looked like he was leaning the wrong way as that throw was made. Roberto Kelly over to tell Pagan what he is seeing. There's Pablo, who has not had a hit tonight. His 20-game hitting streak very much on the line right here. Pagan easily back there.
Now those throwovers are being called by Bud Black.
One ball and no strikes. Bass ready again. Well, you thought they might throw the semi pitch out. I don't know what that pitch was, but it missed very badly. It looked just like a pitch out.
It was the semi pitch out. Well, I mean, what they've done, though, they've created a real easy 2-0 for Melky Cabrera. I mean, those were easy takes. Obviously, a pitch out. This one, almost the same type of thing. So he's in the driver's seat here. Should get a pretty good pitch to hit.
And a foul ball. Pagan, that turn around and come back. Two and one to Melky Cabrera. So we'll see if Pagan's running. This is definitely a running count now, that's for sure. 2-1. He goes. That is right through and slowed down. Deflected by Hudson. Pagan to third and Cabrera into second. A single if Hudson doesn't touch it at all.
It allows the Pablo Sandoval to get another at bat. They may intentionally walk him, but let's take a look at the C&I ground ball just over the head of Alonso, out past the outstretched arm of Hudson. And Hudson, in tipping it, creates the opportunity for Melky Cabrera to get an extra bag, and indeed he does. So we get a second and third situation. It looks like they are going to pitch to Sandoval.
They have a right-hander up in their bullpen, Dale Thayer.
It's the beauty of having Posey hit behind you.
Slow chop. Bass covering. Gets the put out on the feed from Alonso. And it could be that Pablo's hitting streak has ended. Santiago Casilla to try and save it. Alonso, Hudson, Maben coming up. Casilla, the closer, most often since the disabling of Brian Wilson. And now he'll try and save this one against the Padres. His previous save chance a couple of days ago in Cincinnati was awesome.
It was inspiring, and he did it with a fastball curveball combination. He's got 3 different pitches he'll give you. That fastball that'll go mid to high 90s, the curveball and a slider, and he will give you 2 different looks with the fastball. And he believes in both the 4-seam and 2-seam grip, uses them well.
Yonder Alonso leads off against him. The former Cincinnati Red. Casilla's save was against Alonso's old team on Thursday in Cincinnati when he struck out the side. Alonso tonight is 1 for 3. Got an infield hit back in the 2nd inning. A foul off the left field line. 1 ball and 1 strike. You can see that fastball tailing away from the left-handed hitter.
The old left-hander. And does the right thing. He gets it. Brings his glove, gets a ball, gives it to his date.
1 ball, 1 strike to count to Alonso. Orlando Hudson on deck. 2-1. 94 miles an hour. Well off the inside with that one. Hudson on deck. Maben due up 3rd. Giants with Cabrera in left. Pagan in center. Sherholtz in right. The left fielder Cabrera is over toward the line a bit. That's a slow dribbler. Casilla trying to barehand it, then throws it in the dirt, and they still did not get him. Wow.
I don't know how Brandon Belt dug that out. I thought they had him. Once Casilla got over to it and missed it, the whole play started going in slow motion. He got him. A 1-hopper, and it came up on. They got him.
He was out.
So Chris Conroy has had a couple controversial plays over first base tonight. And here, he misses this, and the Padres catch a break.
It was, in big league terms, not even really that close. But here is Hudson. And I think the next time they'll ask Casilla to pick up a ball like that with his glove and then take it out of the glove and throw it to first.
The next time I think you're going to see a catcher take the play.
Each team with 2 errors in this game. So the possible tying run is aboard. Alonso at first. Casilla facing Orlando Hudson now. Out of play, strike 2.
I'm really surprised they haven't bunted.
Hudson is 0 for 3 with a strikeout. So he hasn't seen Casilla much and has never had a hit against him. But I guess Bud Black, he likes the lefty swinging away against Casilla. The right-handed hitter on deck. You bunt him over, you get a couple of shots to bring him in. Burris gets the sure out at first.
So they do get a runner in score position with the out, so it is productive.
Hudson 0 for 4. But now they got a couple of shots with a runner in scoring position. Starting with Cameron Maben and Posey out to speak with Santiago Casilla.
Yeah, they're going over the sides, but he's also giving him a pep talk, and I think the conversation is going like this. Keep that ball down around the knees. Your movement down around the knees is explosive right now. That last pitch took off. That was a 2-seam fastball that really ran away from Hudson.
A pitch runner has gone into the game at second base. Jason Bartlett in as the runner for Alonso. Bartlett, who runs well. So they've got a lot more speed out there at second base now.
The Giants have good arms in their outfield across the board. We've seen what Nate Sherholtz can do over the years. Giants are now starting to figure out that Melky Cabrera's got a good arm, and you can say the same thing for Angel Pagan.
Just missing on the outside. Ball 1. 95-mile-an-hour fastball. Maben's had only 3 plate appearances. against Casilla. 0 for 2, and also was hit by a pitch in one. So very tense moments here. 9th inning. The Giants need 2 outs more for a win, but only with a 1-run lead, and the possible tying run is in scoring position for the Padres. The Padres have gone 0 for 6 in these clutch at bats tonight as a team. Posey, having spoken with Casilla, comes back behind the plate. Maben this year, including 1 at bat tonight with a runner in scoring position, has had 2 hits in 17 at bats in situations such as this. So he has struggled big time in the clutch. Off the right field line, sails over the bullpen and out of play.
That's a healthy challenge fastball right there at 96.
1 ball, 1 strike. Cashner, a right-hander, and Gregerson, a right-hander, both up in the Padres bullpen meanwhile. Maben 0 for 3 is flied out to shallow right center, flied out deep to left center. Outstanding play made by Cabrera, and he's grounded out to third. Curveball punched foul into the seats off to the right. 1-2. Lincecum in the dugout, taking it all in. Vogelsong to his right.
And Edlifson, who just got called up, Steve Edlifson, on the left of Lincecum.
Brought back from Fresno today. Curveball, and he struck him out. Maben tried to check, and the plate umpire, Cheetah, made the ruling that he did not.
Now this is a hard curveball in a perfect location. You take advantage of a 1-2 count. You throw that thing down below the zone and let him chase. And Maben cannot hold up. What a beautiful pitch. And there's the reaction from the Giants bench.
Now the Padres will go to a pinch hitter. Rather than Perino, the young shortstop, a switch hitter, they're going to go to the veteran, the left-handed hitting Mark Kotsay. Kotsay and Casilla have never faced each other in a big league game. Kotsay, the veteran who's been around for a long while, and right now he's the pinch hitter deluxe for the Padres. Kotsay is 2 for 6 as a pinch hitter. And a pinch hit single here could tie this game. A fast runner in scoring position at second, 2 down. Casilla, and the ball game is over. The comebacker, and it wasn't easy.
No, it was not. It scared everybody in this ballpark. Tim Lincecum is the recipient of the win, and boy, did he have to have a gut check to cash it in. Just 3 infield singles off it, but as a competitive a ball game as we've ever seen him throw. He may not be completely back, but folks, he cannot battle any harder than he did tonight, and a huge win for this Giants team.
So Casilla with another save in a tight spot. A 1-run victory for the Giants, and the possible tying run was in scoring position with only 1 out in the 9th. Lincecum wins it, Casilla saves it, and a tough luck loss for Anthony Bass, the impressive young right-hander of the Padres. And Brandon Belt knocked in the tying and winning runs with a 2-out double in the 7th. We'll be back